I'm Deana.
And I'm Suzanne, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Rise and Shine It's Hypno Time Podcast.
With Deana and Suzanne.
That's us.
The purpose of this podcast is to help you along your healing journey, to become the very best version of you that you can be, and to create the life of your dreams. We want to give you the tools you need to succeed through personal stories, guided meditations, hypnosis, NLP, and self-hypnosis techniques, as well as interviews with experts in a variety of healing modalities, from energy workers and spiritual healers to chiropractors, acupuncturists, holistic medicine, and much, much more.
Yes, and we also want this podcast to be a place where people can come together, share stories, and be reminded that you're not alone. In fact, the healing journey is a lifelong journey, and we are just so thankful that you're choosing us to be a part of your journey and that we have you to be a part of ours as well. And with that being said, let's start the show.
I'm ready when you are.
Welcome everyone to the first ever episode of the Rise and Shine It's Hypno Time Podcast. We couldn't be more excited or more grateful to be able to share this with everyone. And we have so many cool and wonderful things in store for you guys.
That's true. There's so many different things that you're going to learn on this channel. We're going to communicate about different healing modalities. There's a lot that we're going to do for you. So make sure you get your questions together and get a hold of us.
Yes, that's for sure. And before we dive into it, I think we should introduce ourselves a little bit so the listeners could get to know us a little bit better. So Deana, why don't you go first? Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, what got you into hypnosis?
Sure. My name's Deana Chapman. The name of my business is DCC Hypnosis, NLP and Life Coaching Center. So that stands for Deana Cooper Chapman. I started by meeting up with a master hypnotist. I was in sales. I've got 7 children and 14 grandchildren. So I knew how to communicate several different ways to several different personalities and have them all understand me. Anyway, so I met up with a master hypnotist. I was in sales and different type of communication and skills. And she asked me if I wanted to try it. And one of the first things that went through my head was, I'm not sure if I want anybody to control my mind. I don't want anybody to find out any deep, dark secrets. I don't want somebody to give me suggestions I'm not aware of. I was just very reserved and very protective of my mind and my thoughts and my spirit because I didn't want that kind of control over me. But I didn't understand what hypnosis really was. Hypnosis is a modality that just has more of an acute focus. If you can relax the conscious mind for just a little bit and get all of the prejudice and the opinions and the things that we form and have in our conscious mind, just move them to the side a little bit, then you're able to have this acute focus, and whatever the client's agenda is what we focus on. So if that client wants to lose weight, I may give them suggestions about seeing themselves, 50 pounds thinner, and actually imagine standing in front of a mirror and erasing any area that you want to shape or make thinner, and then feel it and see it and commit to it. And it's just this deeper level of change. So a lot of times I describe it as, instead of having somebody, yak in your ear telling you what to do, you actually change from the inside out. These suggestions are planted and they influence you, and you change from the inside. So you think and feel differently, and it sticks. It's so amazing.
It's amazing what hypnosis can do. And for the people who may not know, the conscious mind is the one that's always saying, no, I can't, I'm too slow, I'm not smart enough, whatever your story may be. And, not to judge the conscious mind, but, it was created to protect you. It didn't want to experience the hurt or the pain, so it puts that wall up.
Right.
But hypnosis is a way to relax that part of the brain so we can speak to the subconscious, and that's where we can create new neural pathways to see the change and get the results that you desire.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, like if you can see it, you can achieve it.
Right.
Yeah.
If you can see it, you can believe it, you can become it. Yeah.
Yes, and the subconscious is always wanting to make things work for you. I mean, that's the part of the brain that helps your organs function without even thinking about it, So it's very powerful stuff. It's pretty cool.
It is. And then NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is all part of what we do here, is is a way to create a more immediate brain switch. So you can literally switch from being in the left brain, which is the side of the brain that if you're feeling fear or you're anxious, then you're probably thinking about the future. Or if you're sadness or guilty, you're probably thinking about the past. So in the right brain, we're more in the present, more of the fantastical, more of the creative, more of the happy and peaceful side. So if we can do an exercise that can take you from this state of mind to this within seconds, then you learn that you can control your thoughts, you can manage your feelings, and you can become something different. That doesn't mean it won't switch back, but it still allows you to take control and be able to feel the difference. And now you can say, oh, I am in charge of my mind. I am in charge of the things that affect me, and I can change how I think about it, because perspective is everything.
Everything. And before we get too far, wasn't the first time you saw a hypnotist? That was for your tennis game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was interesting because I was living in Pensacola and I was in sales and I was in a meeting and I met this master hypnotist. And like I said, the first thing that went through my mind was, I don't want to be controlled. And she says, it's not like this. It's your agenda. It's all positive suggestions. And honestly, if you don't participate, then it won't work in the first place. So she asked me if I want to try on my tennis game, because at that time I was kind of on a level 5. I'd been there for 5 or 6 years. I was stronger than most of the people I played with, but I had trouble with focus. I would get impatient. I'd want to end the point, but I had a strong serve, a powerful forehand volley. So the level that I had as far as skill was, on a top level. But the ability to be consistent and be focused was more on a 4 or 5 level. So she gave me suggestions about changing my tennis game, focusing just on the yellow ball, blocking out any distractions. And I remember thinking of the movie For the Love of the Game with Kevin Costner and Kelly Preston. When he would come out on the baseball field and there would be people yelling at him on all sides and really distracting, he would say, clear the mechanism, and then everything would kind of cloud out and the focus would be just on the pitcher. And so that's kind of what I did when she says, okay, block out any distractions, just focus on whoever's hitting the ball and look at the ball. Notice the yellow, the yellow ball with the white lines in the ball. Now, know where it's going to be at, move towards it, follow it. She just gave me, some simple suggestions, and I was so aware of what she was saying, I wasn't even sure if I was in hypnosis. And so I listened to what she said, and I saw myself kind of moving across the court. I was focused on the ball. I kind of blocked out the distractions. I even kind of imagined myself like in a white tank and a navy blue pleated skirt, because I just used to practice in that one a lot. And this is now, 15 years ago. So I'm thinking about this, moving on the court and everything. And she brings me up, and without going into all the detail, she says, so how do you feel? And I says, well, I feel good. I feel relaxed. I feel lighter, but I don't really know if I was even in hypnosis. And she said, she just kind of smiled at me. And I know that smile because I do it with my clients all the time. But she said, yeah, well, you only have to go a little bit lower. You don't have to lose consciousness or not be aware of what's being said or done. As a matter of fact, it can help you to hear it, because then you know when it's working. So anyway, about 6 to 8 months after that, I went from that flight 5 to a 4 to a 3 to a 2 to a 1. It just did. And when I'd get out on the court and I'd tell myself, focus on that yellow ball, I was able to do that with more control and more focus than I'd ever had on the court. So it was like, this is so awesome. I could do this.
Game changer.
Yeah, game changer. So I was able to do that and move on the court and move up. And I said, man, that stuff works. And I could do this, because I knew that I had the mindset and the aptitude and the ability to connect and communicate. So it was like, that's it. I'm gonna try this. And I took the class and got certified.
Yay, that's so cool. And before we switch gears, because you did mention that you have 7 kids, you should give them a shout out in order.
Apparently, I don't mess around when I mess around.
Anyway. Oh, yeah, and that is a Deana-ism. That's what I like to call a Deana-ism. And just be on the lookout for those throughout the season, because they're amazing, impactful, and usually pretty funny, too. So
that's funny. I'm going to have her write a book for me.
I've already got one in the works.
She's keeping track of Deana-isms. Like I used to tell people when they'd ask me about my kids, I'd tell them the ages, and then I'd say they're spaced out, just like their mother. Anyway, that's a Deana-ism. Yeah, I have 7 kids. Jack, Brandon, Dawson, Sarah, Mary, Savannah. Oh, I missed Carly. She's going to hate that. Carly and then Savannah. And they're all wonderful kids, and I have a lot of grandkids. I'm not going to mention all those, but they're wonderful kids out there. So hi. Jack, Brandon, Dawson, Sarah, Mary, Carly, and Savannah.
I love it.
So we have a pretty good, we have a pretty amazing story on how we met.
Yes.
You became a wonderful part of my life. We are now a dynamic duo. She kind of was my yin to my yang. Is that how you say it?
You could say that.
Yeah. There were things that I wanted to accomplish and wasn't quite getting there because my best talent was the communication, was focusing on what somebody needs and being able to adjust to what they needed. But there are so many programs and so many things I wanted to put in place. So, Suzanne, why don't you tell us how you found me and how we got started?
All right. So, to make an extremely long story very short.
A little bit shorter.
Yeah. I lost my person back in March of 2020, and needless to say, I was just stuck in the pit of grief that I never thought I could get out of. It sent me down the rabbit hole trying to discover, spirituality, other healing modalities. I mean, I tried everything. And I will say that, I did find a lot of help here and there, but just nothing was working or truly helping.
Nothing answering the call.
Right. And so I had this moment where I was driving down the road and I was doing that very ugly scream crying that you may can relate to in the car, and literally just asking for help. What am I supposed to do? How am I going to do this? And literally, right when I asked that question, a giant bald eagle flew right in front of my car. And if you know me, you know that I love bald eagles and just raptor birds in general, but especially bald eagles. Mm-hmm. And they're not super common over here. So I saw the bald eagle, and at the exact same time, Deana's commercial came on the radio. So I said, I hear you loud and clear. I pulled over, and the rest was history. I gave her a call. I made her an appointment, and I made myself an appointment with her is what I mean. I'm sorry. But I pulled over and we just chatted for probably 30 minutes, which is not normally what she does either, but there was an immediate connection. And another synchronicity, which I think was really cool, is that when I pulled over, and we're here in Florida, so completely across the country from Utah, which is where Deana just so happens to be from. But she was telling me this story about when her and Carly, right?
Yeah. Took our canyon trip.
Yes, in Utah. And she was just telling me this whole story. And at this point, I was kind of walking around because we've been on the phone for a while. And I noticed that I had parked right behind a truck with a Utah tag. And I'm like, okay, this, I get it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it just helped me so much. It changed my life. I mean, it really probably saved my life, if I'm going to be honest. And when I realized how impactful this could be and how many people could be helped by this, I got certified right away. Yeah.
Well, first you came in to see me, mm-hmm. and when I talked to you on the phone, I stayed on the phone with you because I could tell that you needed to talk to somebody, that you were in a place that, you were pretty desperate and your grief was really deep. So I communicated with you and talked to you with about the things that hypnosis can help with. And so we set an appointment. You came in and started working with me. And I realized all the qualities and talents and everything that you're capable of. And I thought, man, when you started going through the healing, I thought, man, I would love to have you in my office and we could work together, because the things that I fall short in or that I don't want to do, you're so good at, you know. So why don't you tell some people.
And vice versa.
Yeah. That's great.
And there's even more synchronicities right there, because you know, I'm pretty good at tech stuff. I used to be a journalist, so definitely the website, you know, recording and the podcast. That was definitely my forte, while, you know, customer service, maybe sales, marketing, and even just her experience with hypnosis and healing and everything like that. It's, like you said earlier, just the perfect yin and yang almost. Yep.
There you go.
But yeah, and ever since then, we've just been getting better and better and growing stronger and stronger and helping so many people, and I just couldn't feel more blessed, honestly.
Oh, me too. Thank you so much, Suzanne. And the interesting thing about this is what we work on together with our clients is being able to clear themselves of any outside issues, to let go of the things they don't have control over, to move forward with, you know, with a belief and an inspiration and a desire to be different, and to be able to get grounded and see something different than what, you know, is consuming their thoughts around them. So for us to get together every day, in order to even be here today, we had to put into place the same type of principles we help other people to do. And that is, first of all, if you have an idea, you need to step forward into it right then. The difference between successful entrepreneurs and non-successful is everything that they do moves them towards a future that's going to be successful for them. They don't sit and talk about it and maybe write down notes.
Inspired action.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a Suzanneism.
I like it. We'll start one of those too. But I will say also, for anybody who is grieving or dealing with loss, and I know just it's so many people right now, one of the biggest things that Deana helped me through hypnosis was replacing my connection to that person, replacing it with love instead of grief. And I was surprised once I learned to do that.
It's about perspective change, isn't it?
And the connection got even stronger, you know. It's when you can drop the cloudiness and all the stuff that grief can cause around you, you know, that connection for love and healing and strength, and all that can just grow stronger. So
oh yeah, it's really important. It's interesting, because what it goes all the way back to is, what is your perspective? If you can change your perspective, it'll change the world around you. And it's almost like an aha moment, because when you change your perspective and you think differently, you can't go back to the old thinking.
Right.
So if you're struggling with something and you've only got one mindset, and you're you know, you're wrapped into that mindset and you can't get out, to be able to have an immediate switch or a different perspective. Like for you, when you were grieving, every time you would grieve, it would pull you deep into the vortex of grief. But that's where you know, connected to your loved one. You know, you were down there and it's like you didn't want to leave, you didn't want to let go, you didn't want to, and it's like, okay, so your connection is developing stronger and stronger on the side of grief, instead of recognizing the value that he brought to your life, and having that connection be through love, and having gratitude that everything that he helped you through is what made you who you are today. And I believe in, you know, life after death, and that he's very close, and that he would want to have you succeed and be happy, because none of us are getting out of here alive. We're all going to leave this earth, and some do sooner than others. But the important thing is that we get everything that we can out of our purpose, our life, our goal, our, you know, our existence, and we take the best care of this vessel, this body, and this spirit that we can, and learn all that we're supposed to learn, because we're going to be joining our loved ones, you know, soon enough. right?
Yes, absolutely. That's beautiful words and very well said.
Oh, you're so sweet. I'm buying you lunch.
Oh, thank you so much. So we did already discuss a little bit about hypnosis and NLP, and I'm just really thankful that, you know, we can spread the word about it, because there are so many misconceptions. Like, you know, it's not magic. I had to put in just as much work, you know, with the hypnosis, challenging those beliefs and learning how to manage my thoughts and emotions, and just
committing
taking
to
control,
working with me, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, showing up is half the battle, right?
Right. Like some people, they come in and they want us to do the work for them. And I say, I can't snap my fingers and say, ta-da, you're different. The first thing you have to do is, when you come into this, you need to be committed to the program. You need to want this to work for you and want to put yourself into it, and even practice, because we give homework and self-hypnosis techniques and everything. And when you combine all those things, we literally have people who come in the next week that are different.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Their whole countenance is different. They might be sobbing in my office and not know if they're going to last another day. And I mean, I'm not exaggerating
been
that.
there.
Yeah. And then the next week, they're lighter and they are looking at things a little bit more different. So that's what I mean by changing, like, from the inside out. And honestly, this podcast our desire is to inform our listeners of all the different things that you can do to be as healthy as possible, both physically, mentally, spiritually, you know, emotionally. We want to help you to get balance. So that's why we're pulling in not only master hypnotists from like all over the world. We've already got some from across the country. We went to a
conference
last year. As soon as she got certified, we went to a Las Vegas conference. It was the first time I'd been there. It's called
Hypno Thoughts
Live, HTL. And this is their 10th anniversary this year coming up. And we met so many different type of hypnotists that did everything from, you know, addiction to sports performance to fears and phobias to, you know,
everyone.
What's some more that you can think of?
Building confidence, overcoming narcissistic abuse, you know, the spiritual connection of it all, the polyvagal theory. I mean, just so much.
Molecular healing.
Oh, using hypnosis for anesthesia.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so many things that you can use it for. It's almost like anything that you want to work on. If you want that boost of help, hypnosis or NLP and the life coaching combined are tools that most people aren't aware of, and they're gifts, because you don't have to come see us for years. As a matter of fact, I wish people would stay longer, but within 5 to 10 sessions, you can literally have a turnaround and be on the road to success. And you may not even need us. It's like a mama bear or a mama bird constantly pushing her little chicks out of the nest. So, Suzanne, let's switch gears here. And can you explain to me and the listeners what you hope to achieve with this podcast? What would you like to accomplish?
Well, first and foremost, I want this to help people so much. And anyone who is in a situation or circumstance similar to what I was in, or even their very own circumstance, it doesn't matter. I want them to be able to find some sort of healing. It takes one episode, one nugget of wisdom, you know, just one thing to change it all, you know. And I would love to be able to be that one thing or one person for someone else, and to help them heal and grow and get unstuck. And I think that's what I'm most excited for, and to just show that no matter what you go through, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel if you don't give up.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Deana?
Well, you know, I started doing this about 14 years ago and have since become a hypnosis instructor, an Nlp Neuro-Linguistic Programming instructor, so I have classes. But I've always wanted people to be more educated about what this really is, because my purpose, I believe, is to truly, you know, help people, to serve people, and to help them make changes. And when somebody walks out of my office and they hug me and tell me that, you know, I've changed their life or I've saved their life,
It's everything.
Yeah, it makes me feel so good. So that being said, not just what we do here is not just what I want to educate people on, but being able to change their body. To change their body by different types of nutrition, or to be able to go to an acupuncturist and have, the relief of pain or something change inside their body, or a chiropractor, or practicing yoga or massage therapy. All of these different modalities, essential oils, energy work. There's just so much out there that most people do not know about. They're not aware of because it's not, in the medical practice of the community, that can change your life and that can literally help you, to heal your mind and your body and everything that you want to change. And sometimes you can do it with nutrition and vitamins and exercise,
changing your mindset.
And mindset. Exactly. So my biggest take out of this podcast is to introduce as much as I can to any of you. And as a matter of fact, if you have any interest, if you have questions, if you're curious, if you want us to answer questions about what we do, or if you want us to bring people on to help answer questions for other things, just put comments below, send us a message, and we'll cover, those things that you want to know more about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Podcast. Any topic that interests you or anything you want to know more about, we would just honestly, truly love to help you and be a part of your healing journey. This just means everything to us.
It does. It's really our life's work now.
Yeah. And if you do want to reach out to us, you can visit dcchypnosis.com/podcast, and that will have all of our information, all of the socials, all of it. So you can find us there easily.
Right. And you can look up the website, find out any information you want to about us. And we have so many programs that are coming up. Did you want to mention anything about the newsletter or anything like that you've developed that we're working on?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great idea. We've started a membership program called Hypno Health Club. So for $7.77 a month, if you guys do want to sign up with us, each month you will get a monthly newsletter, access to a private Facebook community full of like-minded individuals. We'll answer questions. We do live free group hypnosis sessions over Zoom each month.
And we're also going to do a recording.
Yes.
We're going to do a different subject each month. We're going to offer a free hypnosis recording. So it may be about grief. It may be about self-confidence and self-love and self-worth. It may be about sports performance. It may be about sleeplessness. It may be about fear of flying. So we're going to offer something different each month that you can download and use for yourself. And then we're going to have a free drawing. So anybody who is a part of this club, we'll put their name in the hat, and if they win, they get a free session with us, whether they're far away and we're going to do it over Zoom, or whether they want to come in the office and do it in person.
Yeah. So excited for that.
And you can find
sorry about that. You can find a lot more information about that on the website as well. So.
Yeah, that is so cool.
And I think to wrap up this episode, we are going to ask each other some fast, fun facts. So this is a segment that we plan to do with each guest that we have on the show. But I figured if we're going to do it with everyone else, we should definitely ask each other too. So
don't be putting me on the spot.
Okay, so let's get it started. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I've always been a night owl to my demise almost, since I was a little girl. I always stayed up really late. I just didn't want to miss anything. But I'll tell you, since I've gotten older, and most women that are my age know, when you experience some hormone change and everything, that you start waking up earlier. So now I'm kind of a night owl that gets up early.
Early bird and a night owl.
But I am trying to change that and just go to bed a little bit earlier and actually give my body plenty of rest, because that's part of health and wellness, and it gives me, a better mindset and even clearer thinking when I get some sleep. So how about you?
Well, I'm an early bird. I wake up so early no matter what. The creative juices are always flowing first thing in the morning for me. But then around, I don't know, after dinner my brain starts shutting down. But
yeah, well, she's a hard worker. She's she's alive and awake, for everything that I've ever needed. So,
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's really sweet. Do you know your zodiac sign?
I'm Scorpio.
And I'm a Leo.
I'm not a typical Scorpio, though. I've got some really soft sides to me, but it is a strong sign, isn't it?
And I do know that you also have a Virgo moon, we've discovered.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Awen, she's an amazing astrology reader, and we're actually going to have her as a guest quarterly on the show to give us an astrology forecast.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also going to do our full chart, so
Yeah,
we'll
we're
all
excited
get to
to find
learn
that
more
out.
about
Yeah.
us.
And there's so many different belief systems out there. Some people, don't believe in astrology at all. This is not astronomy, though. It's astrology, so the moon and the stars. And I think there's bits and pieces of truth and influence in all of our lives for many different reasons. For maybe when you were born and what stars were aligned to, your environment, being a product of where you came from, the things that you're taught. So it's, whenever we put this stuff out here, it's not a single belief. It's just
They're all better ways to get to know yourself.
Yeah, and educate yourself, and you decide for yourself what
resonates with you.
Yeah, what you believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also going to say that my Capricorn moon matches well with your Virgo moon. And my Pisces rising is why I'm so emotional.
And I'm here to calm Pisces down.
Yeah. So there we go. So what is the one song that can get you hyped up no matter when or where?
I'm going to let you answer that one first, because I am not sure. There's a couple of them that have resonated with me during times in my life that were perfect. And most of them are very uplifting and very encouraging, but I can't really think of one. So how about you share?
Okay, so that is really a tough question because I have like 30 songs that just came to mind myself. But for some reason, I'm going to give the embarrassing answer and say, anytime I listen to Sugar Ray, it always puts me in a good mood.
That's good. That's good. It's whatever lifts you up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it can be some hard rock and roll and just really get your juices flowing, or it may be something soft and comforting and soothing and peaceful, or somewhere in between.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Depends on the mood and the time and everything.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll come back to that one for you, okay?
I'll have to figure that one out.
This is a big one. So if our listeners could walk away with one nugget of information or wisdom, what would you want that to be?
Well, I think the first and foremost thing to understand is that we are not in control of anything beyond ourselves. We didn't create the universe. We're not in charge of everybody. We're not responsible for everybody, other than our children and being responsible on how we behave. The most focus that we can do is to focus on ourselves and be the best that we can be. And I never mean that to be selfish. It's more of taking care of yourself and becoming the very best version of you so that you're better for everybody around you. So pulling that focus in and practicing your self-talk, the way we think, the way we talk, and the way we behave are the three main things that we can focus on, that we have control over. And most everything beyond ourselves is not within our control. So let that stuff go, move forward from it quickly pull in that energy, focus on yourself, and you'd be surprised how working for your betterment helps you in your day-to-day life, and helps you to be better for everybody around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And to piggyback on that, the relationship with yourself is the most important one and the longest lasting one. So why not make that one the best one yet?
Exactly. It's not a selfishness to become the best that you can be, because you're the one that was given this spirit and this body and this life, and for you to take care of it and to learn everything you're supposed to learn and become what you're supposed to be, I think is our purpose. So when we focus on that, like I said, it makes us better for everybody around us. We're better caretakers, we're better lovers, we're better, helpers, we're better servers, we're better workers, creators. It just, it just betters us. Yeah, it's so
absolutely.
Cool. And how about you? What would be a good nugget of wisdom that you would like to leave, or something that is valuable that you want your listeners to know?
Well, I definitely agree with you about the importance of filling up your own cup first. But I just think putting in the work, investing in yourself, like that is so important. Setting healthy boundaries, trying to seek balance in everything you do. I think those are all keys to success. Learning how to manage your emotions and your thoughts, that's key to living the best life you can.
They kind of go hand in hand. I
do.
Probably took yours from you.
Hey, it's okay. I had a few in the back of my head, so.
Yeah. There are so many, but the basis, if you start with your mind and your perspective and your spirit and your thoughts and your actions first, it's like everything can kind of expand from there, I think.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
Absolutely. And with that being...
I want to ask you one more thing, because this is something that... I always throw in there. If you were a jelly bean, what flavor would you be? And we're including the gourmet jelly beans, so you get to be anything you want to be.
Well, I think today I'm going to say coconut.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe it was that lime essential oil you made me smell earlier.
Put the lime in the coconut?
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I always have a go-to, and that's root beer. For some reason, root beer... There's just something about the fizz of it, the taste of it. It's nostalgic, root beer floats, A&W root beer. And so I like the flavor of that with the Dum-Dums or the popsicles or the jelly beans. So I think if I had to just pick one, I might pick root beer.
It's a classic.
Think about that, guys, and let us know what your favorite jelly bean flavor would be.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We're so grateful, and I'm so grateful for you, Deana, and just so thankful to be able to do this with you and just to, share this knowledge and to help people, and it really just means so much. So,
yeah, I'm really excited, too, because... Just take some time, listen to them. If they don't resonate with you, that's fine.
Okay too.
But I'm telling you, we've got some really good content coming up, and it's worth listening to and finding out if you can have a mind switch or a change or learn something or ask something that you want to learn.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And with that being said, we just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your support. And just thank you so much for being on this journey with us. And like we said in the intro, for allowing us to be a part of your journey too. It really means a lot.
So we decided that we were going to launch this on 2/22/22 on a Tuesday. So tune in every Tuesday morning.
Tune in.
That's
really good.
To the Rise and Shine, it's Hypno Time with Deana
and Suzanne. Bye, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Rise and Shine It's Hypno Time podcast. If you found some value in this episode and enjoyed it, please consider liking, subscribing, and giving us a 5-star review. Most people may not know that interacting with our content and our channel helps us to continue the work we're doing and reach more people. And we just want to thank you again from the bottom of our hearts for being such a loyal listener. And don't forget to tune in next week and every Tuesday for the latest episode of the Rise and Shine It's Hypno Time podcast with Deana and Suzanne. See you next week.